Adding manure and fertilizers. The substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of plants are called manures and fertilizers. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant or animal wastes. Fertilizers are chemical substances which are rich in particular nutrients. Fertilizers are produced in factories. Some are urea, ammonium sulfate, and superphosphate, NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Now we come to the differences between fertilizers and manures. A fertilizer is an inorganic substance, whereas a manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste, and plant residues. A fertilizer is prepared in factories, whereas a manure can be prepared in fields. A fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, whereas a manure provides lots of humus to the soil. Fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients. Advantages of manure. An organic manure is considered better than a fertilizer. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases become easy. It increases the number of friendly microbes. It improves the texture of the soil. Irrigation. What is irrigation? A living being needs water to live. Similarly, water is important for the development and growth of flowers, fruits, and seeds of plants. The plant roots absorb water. Along with water, minerals and fertilizers are also absorbed. Plants contain 90% water. Water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry conditions. Nutrients dissolved in the water get transported to each and every part of the plant. To maintain the moisture of the soil for healthy crop growth, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water to a crop at different intervals is called irrigation. You can see the farmer watering the field. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from crop to crop, soil to soil, and season to season. There are different methods or different sources for irrigation: well, lake, tube well, ponds, rivers, canals, etc. These are the sources of irrigation. Traditional methods of irrigation are going to be shown to you now. The water available in the wells, lakes, and canals is lifted up by different methods in different regions for taking it to the fields. Cattle or human labor is used in these methods, so they are cheaper but less efficient. The various traditional ways are moat or a pulley system, chain pump, Dekli, and Rohat, that is a lever system. These were the traditional methods. They were cheaper, but the efficiency was very less. Pump is commonly used for lifting water. Diesel, biogas, electricity, and solar energy are used to run these pumps. The modern methods of irrigation help us to use the water economically. The main methods that are used are as follows. The sprinkler system. This system is more useful on an uneven land where the water supply is not sufficient or water is not available in plenty. They have got rotating nozzles. Perpendicular pipes are there having rotating nozzles on top, and they are joined to the main pipe with the help of which they sprinkle the water. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of the pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. A sprinkler is very useful for sandy soil. The next method of irrigation is drip irrigation. In this system, the water falls drop by drop just at the position of the roots. So it is called a drip system of irrigation. It is the best technique for watering fruits, plants, gardens, and trees. This system provides water to plants drop by drop. Water is not wasted at all. It is a boon in the regions where availability of water is poor. Now we come to learn about the weeds, protection from weeds. If we see carefully in a field, we see that there are some other plants growing along with them. What are they called? In a field, many other undesirable plants may also grow naturally along with the crop. These undesirable plants are called weeds, and the process of removal of weeds is called weeding. Tilling before sowing of crops helps in uprooting and killing of the weeds. The best time for the removal of weeds is before they produce flowers and seeds. This is done with the help of a khurpi, as you can see on the picture. A seed drill is used to uproot the weeds. Using certain chemicals called weedicides also, the weeds can be controlled. They are sprayed on the fields to kill the weeds. They do not damage the crops. Spraying of weedicides may affect the health of the farmers. So they should cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth during spraying of these chemicals. Now we come to the next process, that is harvesting. The cutting of a crop after it is mature is called harvesting. If during harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground, it takes 3 to 4 months for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting is done either manually by a sickle or by a machine called harvester. After harvesting, the grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. The process is called threshing. This is carried out with the help of a machine called combine, which is in fact a combined harvester and a thresher. On small holding of land, do the separation of grain and chaff by the process called winnowing. Now we come to learn about the harvest festivals. After 3 or 4 months of hard work, the farmers, they have harvest festivals. The sight of golden fields of standing crops laden with grain makes them very happy, and so they celebrate. Their efforts have borne fruit, and it is time for them to relax and enjoy. The period of harvest is thus of great joy and happiness in all parts of India. Men and women celebrate it with great enthusiasm. Pongal, Baisakhi, Holi, Diwali are special festivals associated with the harvest season. Now we come to the topic storage. Storage of food grains is an important task. If the crop grains are to be kept for a longer time, they should be kept safe from moisture, insects, rats, and microorganisms. The fresh crop has more moisture. If freshly harvested grains or seeds are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by organisms, losing their germination capacity. So before storing them, the grains are properly dried in the sun to reduce the moisture in them. This prevents the attack by insects, pests, bacteria, and fungi. Farmers store the grains in the jute bags or metallic bins. But large-scale storage of grain is done in silos and granaries to protect them from pests like rats and insects. Dried neem leaves are also used for storing food grains at home. Let us summarize what we have learned. It is necessary to prepare soil by tilling and leveling. Plows and levelers are used for this purpose. Sowing of seeds at appropriate depth and distances gives good yield. Good variety of seed is sown after selection of healthy seeds. Seed drills do the work of sowing. Soil needs replenishment and enrichment through the use of organic manure and fertilizer. Use of chemical fertilizers has increased tremendously with the introduction of new crop varieties. Supply of water to the crops at appropriate intervals is called irrigation. Weeding involves removal of unwanted and uncultivated plants called weeds. Harvesting is the cutting of the matured crop manually or by machines. Separation of the grains is necessary to protect them from pests and microorganisms. Food is also obtained from animals for which animals are reared. This is called animal husbandry. That's all in this lesson. Keep learning. Learning is fun. So with that, we come to the conclusion of this module. Just go through this module and try to understand some key factors, key points as we continue with the lesson in the next session.